This podcast is part of the Soul Zone Network. Hello, hello, it's Molly
and Sara
from thebutterflyconnection.com.
We're all connected and we're not alone. What if you could rebirth your soul, spark movement in your life, and reconnect with your authentic self?
Join us each week as we connect with Source to answer the burning questions that lie deep within us and gain clarity and wisdom to soar to our greatest potential. Welcome to the Butterfly Connection,
where the kinetics of your soul will give you wings to fly. This is BK37. The growth is in the lessons. Hi, everyone. This is Sara, and I'm flying solo this week. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I hope that you had a fantastic week. Today, I want to talk about experiences. The experiences that we have in our daily lives, how they teach us, how they are actually lessons for us to learn, and how they mold us into who we are and who we become. Our growth in these experiences allow us also to teach others. So that's what I would love to talk with you about today. You know, I'm 36 years old. I'll be 37 in February. And I feel like there has been a lot of experiences that have occurred in my life, and not necessarily things that are really, really bad, but I think all of us have some sort of level of experience, and a lot of situations have occurred in our lives that we remember. And it starts from childhood. I can't really remember all of my childhood memories. I probably start remembering things around age 5. But if you really truly want to get technical, all of our life experiences start from the moment that we're born into the life that we're in. And with every single experience, there's growth in that experience. With every situation that we go through, there is some sort of lesson to be learned. And I know that that's quite an interesting way of looking at it, because not all experiences, not all situations that we're in are good ones. Sometimes they are pretty bad, very painful, even heartbreaking experiences, such as the loss of a loved one, or the loss of a job, or, a traumatic experience, whether you're an adult or a child. Though I think it's how we perceive these things when they happen that is so important. Some people might look at a positive or a negative experience and say, oh, okay, well, that's what happened. And if it's really negative, they might often think, oh, well, why is this happening? What did I do to deserve this? But I would love to challenge you today to say, instead of what did I do or why is this happening, what if you asked the question, what is it that I need to learn from what just happened? I've often used the phrase, things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And I'm certainly not the first person to use that phrase, and I'm not the last person to use that phrase. But think about that for a second. Things don't happen to us. They happen for us. So you just had a bad situation occur. You're walking out of it. You're feeling down. You're feeling sad or upset. And you're ready to ask yourself, why is this happening? And instead, you could say, this isn't happening to me. This isn't happening because I am being punished in some way, or, God is angry at me. I'm here today to tell you that that isn't actually how it works. It's the universe's way of sending you out a beacon of light in the form of a lesson. Whether you believe it to be the universe, whether you believe it to be God, however you look at that, they or he or she sets it up for us. The great unknown, the great light above us, sets up our lives for us for a series of lessons. And it doesn't just span this lifetime. It expands out to every and all lifetimes that you have had and every one that you will have. So the universe basically is dangling a carrot in front of you and saying, here you go. Here is this thing. It's going to happen. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to come out of it? Are you going to grow from the experience? Are you going to take several steps back and feel like you did something wrong? It's all about perspective. It's all about mindset. Now, here's the caveat, though. In every situation that we go through, in every experience we go through, we still have the option, we have the choice of free will. So if something bad happens to us, our free will is to make the decision as to whether or not we're going to learn the lesson out of it or not. And whether or not we're going to feel as though that even though that bad thing happened or that bad experience occurred, that we are going to be better people on the other side of it. Now, I'd love you to think about that for a second. Because most times what happens? If something real bad happens, we kind of hibernate. We go into hibernation. At least I do. I go into this hibernation mode where I don't want to talk to anybody and I don't want to do anything and I just need to sit in what happened. And that's okay. But think about that. If you could look at that experience and understand that you are now a better person because of what happened, because you are learning from life, because that's what life is about. It's about learning and growing. And then even though you felt emotions through it and it wasn't so great to go through, it's how you come out on the other side that's important. So let me give you a few examples here. So let's say you're driving on the highway and you hit a traffic jam and you had literally 30 minutes to jump into the grocery store and get some things so that you wouldn't be late to pick up your child at school. The world is coming down on you. You think you're not going to make it. You get to the grocery store with 20 or 15 minutes left to spare, and somehow you manage to get through the grocery store, get everything you need to do, and you get every single green light, and you end up showing up at your child's school on time. Somehow, magically, that happened. Now, that's a baby experience. That's like a little lesson that God and the universe is working things out for you, even when you don't think they are. Now, what about a bigger life experience? Let's say you lose your job. You're fired from your job. You had something occur that was just a mistake and you didn't mean for it to happen, yet your boss said, nope, that's it. We're firing you and you can never, work this job ever again. Now, there's a lot of emotion surrounding something like that. My husband actually had that happen to him. He lost his job a couple of years ago. And in the midst of it all, he felt like he had no worth. He felt like he did something wrong. He felt like the universe was just on top of him and he just felt terrible. And let me just say, by the way, that part of the learning experiences that we go through, part of it all is learning how to feel what's happening to you and allow yourself to feel bad, because that's part of the learning experience too. So let's fast forward ahead. So my husband lost his job. We searched and searched and searched and searched. And that was the month that I managed to have 5 weddings to play music for. So I had all of that extra income coming in. Didn't plan it ahead of time. It just happened that way. So we had extra money coming in. And my husband was still looking. And then one day I felt the need to click on this link, helping him look and search for jobs, and came across this random link for the state. Clicked on it, sent it to him. He put in his resume and application, and within a week he had a job. Now, was it real tough going through that experience? He and I, yeah, absolutely. But look at how we came out of it on the other end. He got a better job than he had before, where people respected him and he felt like he had worth and he had knowledge to do his job the way that he needed to do. And the universe gifted us with the financial ability to get through that hard time by having me work more. Now, I could have looked at that 2 ways. I could have looked at, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? And stressed myself out and had anxiety and worried and, ended up being unhealthy for it all. But I tried my best to have the mindset that everything was going to work out and the universe was going to take care of us, that God was going to take care of us. And that is exactly what happened. So experience is something that's going to happen to us, whether it's good or bad, and the feelings we feel within there and what we take from the experience is our teacher. It is our lesson. And in turn, we become better people on the other side of it. We become better versions of ourselves. Now, the next thing that's really important to understand is that not only do we learn things from this experience, but that is what molds us for future experiences. So when we learn to walk as a child, we don't just get up and walk. We have to crawl. Then we walk. Then we run. When you have an experience that happens for you, then the next time an experience occurs, it will be different because you will already have had the experience and the knowledge and the know-how of that, what happened before, so that you're better prepared for it. So in essence, you're like a human snowball. You start out with one layer, and then you pack on another layer, and you pack on another layer, and you pack on another layer. You do that for 80 years or 80 plus years or 100 years or however long you live. You pack that on for your whole life. Imagine how big your snowball is, or you are as a snowball, by the end of your life. You are huge. You have had so much growth. You have had so much experience. You become wise in a way because you have seen it. You've gone through it. You've felt it. You've come out of it, and you've become a better person because of it. So it molds us. We are molded by the things that occur in our life. And if we choose not to see experiences as lessons, and we choose to instead look at them as like a curse or something that is being put on us like bad luck, then there cannot be growth. Your snowball will not grow. You will stay the same size. And that is free will. That's the definition of that. And if you think that things are bad luck, or you think that you have a curse, that is the energy you put out into the universe. So how can you mold yourself not to have that happen? It's a manifestation thing. If you think positive, positive things will happen. If you think negatively, negative things will happen. And it's not because you're having something done to you. It's because that's what you're radiating outward. That's what you're radiating outward. But if you think about it, my friends, that is the definition of abundance. Abundance isn't the money in your pocket. It is the solidity of your belief. If you believe it to be true, then it will happen. If you believe it not to be true, it won't happen. One very big example of that for me that has happened in my life is having a rental property. I had it for 5 years. I was the landlord, and I had a very difficult time with one of my tenants. And I tried to sell the house multiple times, and I couldn't. And it was the most frustrating thing in the world because financially I was incapable anymore of keeping it up. And my realtor and my financial advisor basically said, you're going to take a major hit on this house. I had saved up a lot of money to try to, turn it over and get it sold, and it just wasn't happening. And all the while I was going through this, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, this house is never going to sell. It needs this work, and it needs this update, and it needs this, and it needs that. And the tenant, was not keeping it up and not cleaning it, and I was going to have to pay for someone to have it cleaned. And so I had this terribly negative mindset about the house. And you know what? For 3 years, it did not sell. And then finally, one day I said, you know what? What lesson am I learning out of this? And the biggest lesson that I learned out of that experience is that I was literally causing the house not to sell because of my mindset. So I finally said to myself, no, this house is beautiful and it's worth it. And I loved it when I was in it, and someone else is going to love it too. And we went on vacation, and I sent a message out through myself to the universe. And I said, you know what? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and it's going to be for my highest good, even if I don't see it that way, because I'm going to lose a lot of money. And literally, while we were on vacation, the house got an offer, and I accepted it, and we sold it. And though I lost a lot of money in the deal, the biggest lesson I learned was that money is not important. Money was not important. I had to let go of that money so that other abundance could come in. So abundance is not the money in your pocket. Abundance is the way that you send out your signal to the universe and believe that things are going to work out, and the universe is going to give you what you need when you need it, even if you don't think that it's what you need at the time. It doesn't really matter, though, what you think, because God knows what we need, and God provides us. The last thing I want to talk about today is a quote that I heard in my head a few weeks ago, and that is, we are better teachers when we are learning at the same time. So if you've gotten to a place where maybe after listening to this, that maybe you could change your perspective or your mindset and be able to look at all of the experiences that happen in your life as a lesson, here is the greatest gift that God gives us: the ability to lead by example. If we are better learners and we use our experiences to teach us something, then we can lead by example by going out and showing everyone around us how we react to the situation, how we come out of the experience. It's inspirational. If you were around someone that had something really bad happen to them and they came out of it and said, hey, you know what? Bad things happen, but I know that God is with me, and I know that this lesson I'm learning is going to be for my highest good. How would you react to that? I know for myself, I would admire it and I would want to emulate that. I want that thought process. So in that moment, you become the teacher because you are leading by example and you don't even know you're doing it. By learning the lessons in life and in all of our next lives, you embody the soul growth of what your soul is yearning for. Think about that for a second. Your soul is yearning for lessons. Your soul is yearning to grow. And I truly believe that all of us are natural-born teachers if we're willing to accept that, if we're willing to accept the growth. And then our snowball becomes so big and our light shines so bright that it's impossible for anyone around you not to see it. And as you learn your own lessons and as you admit every positive thought you have, every action of kindness you take, every loving word you say, other people will see it. They will admire it. They will want to do the same. And in that moment, you will be a teacher for others. There's such a bigger thought here. There's such a bigger process of thought. If you believe in yourself and you believe in the experiences and you believe that you will come out of that, then you will know who you are. And if you know who you are, then you will be able to teach by example. Now, I'm a natural-born teacher. I have been a public school teacher. I teach privately. I love teaching people. I love seeing others learn from the knowledge that I have to give them. But there's another kind of teaching that we do, and it's just by being loving, by being compassionate, by being caring, and understanding that the universe has got your back and that you have the ability to come out of anything and be stronger for it. And if there's anything that you take away from my podcast today, I hope it's that. And I hope that you can maybe sit down with yourself and think of a couple of experiences that you've had and how you can put a positive twist on that and how you can shift your mindset the next time an experience happens and be able to come out of it with a light so big that you inspire everyone around you. Check out the journal. I will have a journal for this podcast this week. You can check out my website, www.spiritualinsightsbysara.com. That's Sara spelled without the H. And on there you will find my services and information about me and what I do, and also my blog. Thank you so much for listening. You can find out much more information about us on our website, thebutterflyconnection.com. We'll be rolling out a class very soon called Living from the Heart Center. We have a meditation already on our website ready to download. And if you are listening today, the coupon code is podcast. And if you use that, you get 50% off of our meditation on the website. We also have a soul reflection challenge. You can check that out by clicking the link through our website. And that is basically all of the journal exercises that we add for every single podcast. And you get that for free. And you can work through and grow your soul. We're also available and wanting to hear from you on our social media sites, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. As always, we are here for you. Check out our service page. We offer soul coaching. We offer distance Reiki, so much good stuff. But most of all, thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. We will catch you next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week and many blessings. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to The Butterfly Connection with Molly Ray and Sara Courtney.
Look for Soul Reflections Academy on our website, thebutterflyconnection.com, and sign up for our free Soul Reflection Challenge.
We would love to hear from you. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and Google Play and give us a review. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest.
And join us next week for another soul-connecting conversation.